I met this girl when I was 10 years old, and what I loved most, she had so much soul. Hey everybody, it's Old School Heart back with another cultural conversation. First things first, if you're not a subscriber to this channel, go ahead, hit the subscription button, become a part of the family. Also, thumbs up this video if you like cultural conversations. If you like the content here, go ahead and thumbs up the video. Also, go ahead and share this on other social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. It would be much appreciated. We'll have more people join in on the conversation, and that would be amazing for this channel. I am so sorry. It's been about a week since I did a video. I'm getting back to where my girl's at. If you have not watched the latest video on where my girl's at, 10 things that I've learned about doing missing black girl stories, please go back and watch that video. It's informative for not only me, but it's informative for you as well, so that you know what to look for if you encounter a girl that goes missing in your community. Also, if you could share those videos, watch the other Where My Girl's At. Every black girl that I've done so far has a unique story, and I think you will appreciate it. And also, it will help you to stay in tune with some of the things that's going on in our community that are very, very serious that we need to focus on. So I will not hold you any longer. We're having a cultural conversation that's a little bit different than the conversations that we've had thus far. I will say this. I tried my best to say I probably was not going to cover this topic because we had the Tulsa situation, Biden snubbing those Tulsa survivors. We've had so many things that have transpired in the past 2 weeks that there's so much more to discuss. But I had to share my perspective, and I also want to hear your perspective on this whole Monique debacle concerning bonnets and black women. So stay tuned if you want to hear my opinion on the situation, and also stay tuned so that you can leave your comment down below. Okay guys, I am so sure that you are familiar with this story because it was a trending topic and has been a trending topic for about 2 weeks now. Monique, the comedian, a beloved member of our black community, took to her Instagram page to discuss her feelings about black women in bonnets. I did get to watch some of the video concerning what Monique said about black women wearing bonnets in the airport, in certain areas, public areas. I did get to see that video. I tried to look at the whole video, but I kind of got it at the beginning, what she was hinting at, what she was trying to get at. So Monique made this video, and next thing you know, of course, it went viral because she is Monique and because it is a burning discussion in the black community. Anytime that you include black women do's and don'ts, there is going to be an uproar. There's going to be viral community outrage. There's going to be community discussion because out of all of the groups, black women are the most discussed when it comes to what they are doing wrong and what they could be doing better. And so Monique joined in that discussion on criticism. Now, let me just say this. If you know me and if you've been a follower of this channel for a very, very long time, you know that I love and respect Monique. I think I've done 2 videos on her on this page concerning her issue with Netflix, concerning her issue with Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey. Just my sentiments about how I feel about Monique as an actress, how valuable she is to the acting and comedic community. I have been very, very supportive, gotten into arguments on Facebook about me standing up for Monique, me understanding that her value is so much more bigger than what even our community sees her value as. I love me some Monique. So I did not actually feel as if the backlash that she is receiving was altogether warranted as much, considering Monique usually is a fair person, is a loving person. If you look at all of the things that she has on Instagram, what you'll see more than anything is love. More so than criticism. So I have been a very big supporter of Monique, and anything that she says, I am really here for and have been here for. She's one of the few celebrities that I follow on Instagram. I'm not really big into following celebrities. I just try to follow my friends and people that I find fascinating or want to hear from. And Monique happens to be one of those people. And so I didn't initially hear or see this video of her talking about black women in bonnets. And so I did, like I said, look at half of that interview, I did look at half of that conversation. And what I found out is that, Monique during this conversation is lovingly explaining to black women that we should respect ourselves more to appear better in public. So that means that we shouldn't be wearing hair bonnets. We should not be in our pajamas, especially when we're in public places like the airport, going to the store. She referenced two people that told her constructive things about her life. One of them being Patti LaBelle, the other being Avery from The Color Purple, who played Suge. And they just let her know, when she needed to get herself together, when she needed to present herself as a queen that she is. And so her take on it is basically, you are queens or queens in training. And this is how we conduct ourselves as queens in training. She talked about how it looks to be out in public with our hair unkept and undone, what it does for the culture, what it does for us as black women, the perception that we have from that. So basically that was the gist of the conversation. Now, because black women are a trend, because black women do's and don'ts are so familiar on social media, of course, this went viral very quickly. Of course, people went after Monique very quickly, because we are in a different position now than we were 10, 20 years ago, where we really valued what we heard from elders, what we heard from actresses that we looked up to. That was like 10, 20, 30 years ago. Now, a lot of people have, created their own way of thinking, created their own way of who they desire to hear from and who they don't want to hear from and what they want to hear. One of the things that I have noticed in a new phenomenon, not necessarily a new phenomenon, but black feminism has been on the rise. Black feminism separate from feminism, white feminism. And one of the things that is very true about the new black feminism is that a lot of what it says or what it's about is about black women being able to be whoever they choose to be, and not holding to the standards of Europeans or black men or anybody that tries to tell them to be different than what they want to be. And so we are now in an era where black feminism is on the rise, and this idea of I can talk about sex like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. I can show my ass in public. I can show my fat belly like Lizzo. I can rap suggestive lyrics like Cardi B. I can love a man and a woman like certain people. So we have a lot going on in the community, and a community is speaking in ways it has never done before. So of course they had harsh words for Monique. And Monique, of course, was taken aback by this, because from her understanding, she really gave the message in love and not in harsh criticism. And so she couldn't understand why people had resorted to being disrespectful, had resorted to making videos and opinions about what she said. That's something that she could not fathom. So there was a second video that she put up that I actually caught the live. And so she was basically saying that she's not going to take back any of her statements, that she loves us for real. That's a statement that she uses a lot, that she loves our community, and that just like those two elders, Patti LaBelle and Avery, had pulled her coattail, had made her grow, she knows that eventually there will be other Black women who will fall in line to what she said, because what she said was in love and not necessarily in being super critical or being angry or being a hater. And so I believe she did another video after that, but basically she was trying to get an understanding of why there was so much backlash. She was also trying to get people on the live to explain why they felt the way that they felt. Now on that live that I did see a number of Black women who were supporting the things that she said and were standing by her. Of course, she still is a celebrity. And so, of course, a lot of people will cling to what celebrities have to say. And so Monique's no different. Even if people don't feel her like they felt her years ago, she still is a celebrity, and she still will have the popular vote or the popular opinion. And so there were a lot of people that were in support of her. And so we are here to have a cultural conversation. So I definitely want your take on what you felt Monique said, or how you felt Monique said, and go ahead, leave the comments below. But I wanted to give you my take on it, old school heart, my own opinion about this and how I feel about this new phenomenon that we're now in. Like I said, I love Monique. I love her as a comedian. I love her as an actress. She's very, very important to me. She's very, very important in this moment because she's trying to create a lane that I believe that a lot of Black women are afraid to create. And so kudos to Monique for that. However, I do feel as if I'm in a period of life where I am trying my best to let people be them. I know that, my earring just dropped. I know that because I was adapted into a culture as a child, because of course I was adapted into a Black American culture filled with poverty, Christianity, and all of that. I do have cultural norms and different things and traditions and morals and values that I hold on to. Some of them I'm trying to get rid of. Some of them are still very much there. Those morals, values, cultural traditions, and different things like that comes with prejudices, comes with things that I believe that every person should do and know, and all of that good stuff. I am trying my best to rid myself of that, and I'm trying my best to let people be them. And that's one of the things that even though we are part of a collective, I think it is still very, very important that frivolous things like hair bonnets are not held to this universal standard. Because in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. That's why there are certain conversations here that I no longer talk about, or that I'm no longer going to be reviewing, because in the grand scheme of things, the community is not affected by it. Now, you could say, yes, old school heart, it is affected by it, because if we're not looking a certain way, then people won't take us serious. And I will say this. I watched... because we are on the anniversary of the Freedom Riders. And one of the things that I noticed about looking at yet another documentary on the Freedom Riders is their attire, their look was immaculate. Not only the Freedom Riders, the first 12 Black children to go to school in what state was that? Alabama or Little Rock, the Little Rock 9. Went to school immaculate every day, dressed very, very well, hair kept very, very well. And so if you want to go on this idea that, well, the perception is if we don't look a certain way, then we will be treated a certain way, that is incorrect, because we all know that throughout the years, Black women have been tidy, have been neat, hair combed, dressed well, and still have experienced inequality, still have experienced beating at the hands of police, at the hands of white people. And so that's not something that we can use. Overall, Black people have been treated badly in suits just as much as the Black man has been treated badly in overalls and saggy pants. And so this idea that wearing a bonnet represents the culture in a bad way and people won't take us serious is just a complete lie, because we know for a fact that several times, that through pictures, through video, through all of that throughout the years, that we have been brutalized in the best of attire. Martin Luther King had a rule with all of the people that were with him, that were a part of his group, the core part of his group. They had to dress in dress clothes when they were marching everywhere they went. That didn't stop Martin Luther King from being hit with bricks. That didn't stop people from spitting on them. That didn't stop people from slapping them. I remember Jesse Jackson saying in an interview before Martin died that he snapped on Jesse because Jesse decided that he was going to wear some overalls to an event that Martin Luther King was going to be speaking at, and he was a part of that core group at the time, and Martin was not having it. He did not play that at all. At that event, were they going to be harassed? Were they going to be spit at? Possibly. And so, like I said, we cannot use this idea of the way that we dress represents the culture and how people treat us. And so that's my take on that. In the grand scheme of things, we have so many more important things to discuss. And I know that Monique, at the core of her Instagram, at the core of who she is, she talks about healthy living, getting your bodies together, being a comedian, loving yourself, loving others, showing how to, be physically active. So at the core of her is not criticism. It's not at all. However, out of all of that stuff, out of all of the positive stuff that she brings to the table, this is still a very, very frivolous conversation. And there are so many more important things as Black women we can be discussing. Like I said, that's one of the reasons why here you see more in-depth conversations that impact our community, whether good or bad. When we have influences in our community that work against what we're trying to do, I want to discuss that because we want to get the word out that somebody's taking advantage in our community. That is the reason why here I discuss missing Black girls, because that is more important than bonnets, or that is more important than gossip and different things like that. And so I may use somebody in the title to invoke more people to come to the channel, or to promote more people coming to the channel. But the core of what I do here, the core is to always make sure that we're having discussions that affect the community. And to me, bonnets are not something that greatly affects the community. Appearance is not what greatly affects Black women at this moment. I was having a discussion with a friend the other day, and we were talking about our menstrual cycles and dealing with doctors and certain things that come up when you're dealing with doctors, and how they can lie to you, how they make you take more tests than you need to concerning your reproductive systems or your vagina and different things like that. Those are important topics. Those are what we need to talk about. Just the influence that we have that Monique has, it should be used in a way to bring our concerns to the forefront. And like I said, Bonnets is just not one of them. We're having issues with pregnant women and how they're being treated. When they're saying that they're in pain, they're being ignored by doctors or they're being looked over. We have missing Black girls, something that I talk about here, that are not being found. And we have so many things as Black women to discuss that we shouldn't be having these small conversations. And so that's one of the things that I did want to say about the whole conversation. There's just better conversations to have. And even here, this conversation about Bonnets is still going to go back to the core of the issues is, you know, what are we doing as a community to stop some of the pressing issues that are going on with the Black community? What are we really discussing? What are we really talking about at this moment? Because this is one of those discussions that everybody's not going to share the same opinion. And yet we are all a part of the Black community. Now you can say, well, no, because as a culture, we've all said that, you know, bonnets are not what we do. Bonnets are not what we wear. Not necessarily. Maybe in your part of the culture that is important. But we are talking about a new phenomenon that I'm talking about with millennials, women in their 30s who feel like, hey, if I go to the store real quick or I'm going somewhere where I'm about to be lazy, then bonnets are not an issue for me. I'm going to put my bonnet on. I'm going to go about my business. And so we are talking about a cultural norm in the Black community that kind of has faded away. And not only that, can be translated in different ways in different parts of our community. There are layers to this. There are subgroups and subgroups to that subgroup. And so that is one of the things that I will say about this topic. Also, and this is how I end the video, and then you can leave your comment below. One thing about elders in our Black community that I have studied for quite some time, one thing that I know that I can say in my own scope of reality is that there are a lot of Black elders in our community that feel as if they are able to speak on anything and they're able to tell you anything. They're able to discuss with you or give you a truth at any time. We have allowed these Black elders to do so. Some of it to our own dismay, some of it to aiding in our depression, some of it aiding to our alienation. We've allowed elders in our community to speak basically what they want without repercussion, because in the Black community, the elder is looked at as the queen or king. The elder is looked at as a superior wise one. Instead of it being a case by case situation, we've always let the elder speak. That has not necessarily worked out in our favor as a community. Just letting an elder speak into our life, just letting an elder say whatever they want. Now, I'm not saying that elders are not very wise, that they don't have resourceful information for not only the community, but Black women specifically. But what I am saying is that sometimes the things that have been spoken to us, sometimes even in love, as Monique said that she said it, still can come off very harsh, still can come off unwarranted, and still can come off wrong, especially if not done properly or done in the right timing. One of the things that one of my friends said a couple years ago that I had to think on was he hates unsolicited advice. He hates when people just say, you know what, I think it would be better if you. And when he initially said that, I was like, what's wrong with that? Like, people should be able to give you advice. If they love you, they should be able to give you advice. And he says, yeah, but there are some people who really feel as if at any moment they can just say whatever they want. They can just speak life because it's their truth and they see it, and they just want you to improve even though you didn't even ask. And a lot of times I just don't be asking. And I had to think about that, and I really said, yeah, you know what? That actually makes sense. Elders have a big issue sometimes, and some elders have a big issue with unsolicited advice. If no one asks you, why are you offering it? Why is it so important for you to say it? And some elders will say, well, it's for your good, or down the line, you'll see what I'm talking about. And they may be right. We will see what you're talking about. Or it could be that I'm already working on this and I don't need your assistance because I'm really working it out. I have a therapist. I know what I'm doing. And so, one of the things that I wish as a Black community is what we would start saying to the elders respectfully is that I didn't ask for any advice, not offer. I didn't ask for any advice. And so thank you that you felt like you needed to tell me, but I didn't ask for it and I don't need it. I love you. Like Monique said, I'm only saying this in love. I love you, but this is not information that I need right now. I have a therapist. Thank you very much. I have somebody a life coach that I'm working with. We're working through different things. Thank you so very much. So that's one thing, is that we let the elders slide by just letting them give us unsolicited advice. Another thing that I find that elders do is that elders sometimes just don't have discernment. They never ask God. They never ask their higher source. They never ask, is this the right moment to say what I'm about to say to this person? Is that okay? Because sometimes when we speak out of turn, then that's when we get backlash. That's when we get people who are upset and don't hear what we have to say. It may possibly be true what you are saying. It may possibly be true that what you say will come to fruition. But if you are saying it out of turn and you have not used discernment on when you should speak it, and you just say it because you feel like you're an elder and you can say it, you feel like you have authority and you can say it, you can receive backlash for that. And so in your mind, you can say, well, look, they didn't receive that well. Look at there. I'm just going to wait. Like Monique said, I'm just going to wait until you get it. I'm going to sit here and wait. And that was a crappy response too. It's like, well, I still know that I'm right, but I'm just going to wait until y'all know that I'm right. That was a crappy response from Monique. But because they didn't receive it well, has nothing to do with them waiting for you to say, for them to say, yeah, you're right. It mostly has to do with the fact that the resistance comes from you saying it at all. You may not have been chosen to say it. Like I said, it may not have been the right timing. And so you've overstepped your boundaries by making comments that you were not appointed to make. And so now there is resistance. Now no one is listening to you. Now you're receiving backlash and you're trying to understand why. And you're getting arrogant about it because you're an elder and people should just listen to you and not be disrespectful to you. But the real truth is, who asked you? The real truth is, who asked you? The real truth is, how does this help? And I think that a lot of times, a lot of elders really believe that they are allowed just to say what they want, when they want, without any direction from a higher source. God, whatever you want to call him, Allah, whoever you want to call him. That can cause destruction. That can cause disillusion of relationship. That can cause a person to go into depression. That can cause a lot of things. And a lot of elders don't understand that. And I've had to deal with that with women in church, white and Black elders. And I've had to deal with that from family members who thought they meant well. You can mean well all you want. That doesn't mean the perception is going to be well for that person. And that's another thing Monique doesn't understand. I said it as lovingly as possible is something that she repeatedly said. Saying it lovely as possible doesn't mean the perception of that saying is going to be the same for the receiver. The receiver gets to choose how they react to what you said. It doesn't mean that it's going to be rosy because you said it rosy. I can say, your breath really smells bad, and it sounds so sweet. But the ting of that is, what I just said. Your breath smells really bad. Now, if I'm not the person that's supposed to give you that message, one, if it's the wrong timing, two, then I have just hurt our relationship. I have possibly caused that person to revert back to a behavior or revert back to a depression that was unfounded. Because I don't know what that person is going through. What I'm only doing is saying, I got to speak this truth out to this person, so I'm going to do it. Not knowing that, in the community that they live in, that the water was bad. And so it rotted their teeth out because we have, lead in the water, and that person teeth were decaying. And so there's decaying teeth in there, and dental costs a lot of money. And here we are, just speaking our truth. So you got to be very, very careful when you feel like you want to just say what you want, because you're an elder and you should be respected and you should be loved, and it should be well received. You have to be careful about that. And at the end of the day, people are allowed to do them. Let people be themselves. Let people learn on their own sometimes. That's okay as well. Not saying that you're right or wrong. And in this situation, I'm not trying to say that she's right or wrong. I'm saying that how she's handling it, the backlash that she's receiving is warranted, because people don't have to receive it the way that she thinks that they should receive it, just because she said it lovingly. Let people do them. At the end of the day, is Bonnets what's hurting our community? Or lack of funding, lack of money, lack of housing, lack of food, lack of employment? Those are things that's harming the community. Those are things that we should focus on. Let people do them. I want to hear what you have to say below. I said I wasn't going to talk long, but this is one of those topics that you kind of have to break down. And so please leave your comments below. Please look out for a new episode of Where My Girl Is At, from the front to back, because I will be discussing new girls on Wednesday. And so look out for that video. This is Old School Heart. I miss you so much. Please hit the like button, thumbs up this button, subscribe to the channel. Talk to you on Wednesday. Have a good night, guys.